probably thinking the weirdest mass hysteria belongs to some cult, or maybe a creepy Reddit thread. But imagine this. Strasbourg, summer of 1518. A woman walks out into the street and starts dancing. Not at a festival, not to music, not for fun. She just dances for hours, then days. She can't stop, and neither can the people who join her. Soon, there are hundreds. They dance until their feet bleed, until they collapse, some until they die. This isn't a horror story. It's a real event, one of the strangest public health mysteries in human history. Welcome to the Dancing Plague. Summer of 1518, Strasbourg. A city in the Holy Roman Empire with a population of about 20,000. People are living in a state of constant stress, and perhaps this very fact played a role in the tragedy that is about to unfold. In July 1518, a woman named Frau Trophäa appears on the city streets. She begins to dance, without music, without any visible reason. She dances non-stop, day after day, night after night. Locals observe her strange behavior and think she's simply gone mad. But it doesn't stop, and soon others begin to join her. From the very beginning, this doesn't look like a celebration or a carnival dance. It's more like possession. The dancers' movements are repetitive, convulsive, unnatural. People are exhausted, their faces pale from fatigue. Some close their eyes, others scream in pain. Yet they continue moving. They dance until they collapse from exhaustion, then rise and begin again. With each day, the number of dancers increases. First a few dozen people, then around 400. Some can't stop dancing for several days in a row. Others develop convulsions, extreme exhaustion, body pain. People suffer from bloody blisters on their feet and muscle cramps, but they continue to dance. By the end of the month, several people die each day. This no longer looks like a mass flash mob. It is something much more. At first, the city's doctors try to find a physical reason for the condition, but they can't explain the dancers' behavior. They assume it is caused by hot blood, overheating of the brain, and conclude that in order to heal, people must simply continue dancing to release the heat from the body. To satisfy this theory, the authorities organize a special dancing platform. They build a wooden stage, invite musicians, and allow people to dance in a designated area to avoid injuries from the stone streets. The idea is simple: give the dancers a proper rhythm, and thus cure them. But instead of ending, the dancing wave only intensifies. People from all layers of society, bakers, blacksmiths, carpenters, leave their work and join the dance. Women dance with children in their arms. Even the elderly join this strange madness. The authorities are confused and unable to find a solution, but the dancers continue moving, and the situation becomes more and more tragic. Several people die from exhaustion, heart attacks, and heat strokes. No one can stop this horror. Historical sources from that time provide important information about what happened in Strasbourg during the summer of 1518. Direct accounts from chroniclers give us insight into the scale of the tragedy. Paracelsus, the famous physician and alchemist, describes this phenomenon as a dancing madness. He emphasizes that people were gripped by an uncontrollable urge to dance, despite physical exhaustion and suffering. City chronicles of Strasbourg directly mention deaths caused by this strange illness. It is said that the dancing continued until people died from heart attacks, exhaustion, or heat stroke. Priests of the time saw this phenomenon not just as an illness, but as devilish interference. Records state that they believed the devil had entered the bodies of weak souls, tempting them into unconscious dancing. This case was documented in such detail that even exact dates are known. It all began in July 1518 and lasted for about 2 months. These facts, recorded in city and church archives, became the basis for many later theories. Modern historians and physicians continue to search for an explanation of this phenomenon, and there are several possible theories, each with its supporters. One of the most popular theories suggests that the cause of the mass dancing psychosis could have been poisoning from ergot, a fungus that infects rye. This fungus contains alkaloids chemically similar to psychedelic substances like LSD. Once in the body, ergot can cause hallucinations, convulsions, panic attacks. This could have led to mass psychosis among the townspeople. However, there are problems with this theory. First, with ergot poisoning, people don't typically exhibit rhythmic, dance-like movements, but rather spasms and paralysis. Those poisoned by ergot would more likely experience muscle spasms and pain than behave like dancers. Second, it's unlikely that contaminated food could consistently affect people over several weeks, while others remained unaffected. And third, only those caught in the psychosis kept dancing, while others simply watched. Another theory offers an explanation through mass hysteria, which occurs under conditions of extreme stress, fear, poverty, and religious pressure. In such a state, the psyche can break down, and a person begins to behave irrationally, triggering a chain reaction. One person starts acting strangely, and others, observing this, unconsciously begin to imitate the behavior. This is not a viral infection, but a psychogenic reaction to external conditions. Such phenomena are seen even today. In enclosed communities like schools, religious sects, or the military, outbreaks of mass psychosis occur, where people begin to demonstrate strange, irrational behavior under collective pressure. In such cases, the psyche demands release, and people unconsciously seek an outlet in behavior that would otherwise be seen as bizarre or mad. Mass hysteria is not an illness, but a mechanism that allows a group of people to release accumulated stress and tension. In the case of the dancing plague of 1518, collective psychosis was likely triggered by long-term and terrifying living conditions in Strasbourg, where people were suffering from hunger, epidemics, and political pressure.
The situation in Strasbourg in 1518 eventually ended, but not in the way one might expect. Authorities, realizing they couldn't control what was happening, took extreme measures. Music ban. The music that supported the dancing rhythm was banned. Removal of dancers from the city. Authorities decided to forcibly evacuate the dancers. Purification ritual. A special ritual was performed at the chapel of St. Vitus, which was supposed to help people get rid of the psychosis. However, this path did not save everyone. Some dancers survived, while others died during the journey or while undergoing the ritual. With the arrival of autumn, as the heat in the region subsided, the epidemic finally stopped. Surprisingly, no similar cases were recorded again in Strasbourg. This strange episode became unique in the city's history. People still ask me why I didn't just walk away. Because some lessons must be permanent, some truths must echo, and some betrayals deserve an audience. You see, when you give someone your heart, they hold your power. When they shatter it, you reclaim it, or you become their shadow. I chose to be the storm, not to destroy, but to clear the skies for something better. And somewhere in the aftermath, I found myself again.
Maybe we no longer dance ourselves to death in the streets, but at the core, it's still the same. We rest with endless scrolling through social media, consuming content that helps us avoid reality until we burn out. We treat anxiety with shopping, chasing trends, or taking part in challenges, using them as ways to distract from deeper internal problems. We continue to seek someone to blame: social media, algorithms, the system. We blame everything else, but don't always try to understand the real root of our issues. These are the same dances, just with different rhythms and under different sounds. The dancing plague of 1518 isn't just a strange historical case. It was a mirror reflecting human nature. our reaction to chaos when there are no clear or logical answers. When everything collapses and becomes incomprehensible, the body seeks a way out. And instead of finding a rational solution, a person begins to act unconsciously. The body does what words cannot express. The dance, like in 1518, becomes an expression of pain, fear, panic. It's not just movement. It's a cry, a prayer, a desperate attempt to find salvation when all other paths seem closed. Today, we no longer dance to death, but we're still searching for an escape in our own modern rituals. And just like the people of Strasbourg, we need a way to survive the chaos we live in.